it's really hard to recognize that and see your beauty in this world when things are going chaotic, when there's deaths, when there's shootings, and when there's suffering, Lord. It's not easy to see, but Lord, I know that when we have faith in you, when we trust who you are, we can start to see the beauty in things. So Lord, I ask more of you, that we would be just filled with the Holy Spirit as we're living this life, this world, that we would seek to see more of you, to see your face and your beauty, so that when we get to heaven and see everything, that it will be such a glorious, joyful moment for us. Lord, we worship you, we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, good morning, guys. This week we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We have a guest speaker. You guys know Jisoo. Jisoo, wave your hand. Jisoo's been overseas, and I'll let him tell you more about it. But he's going to share some stuff from his trip. Also, just for you to keep in mind, for the next 2 weeks after this week, next Sunday and the Sunday after, we're going to be talking about the spa shooting and some of that kind of stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind and be ready for that. But we're going to have Jisoo come on up here. Josiah, would you be willing to pray with Jisoo? Jisoo, come on up here. Jisoo, do you want a mic? Do you want a microphone? You can use this one. I'll turn you on after. Josiah, it's not on. What now?
Go ahead and pray.
Okay, cool.
Lord, I pray for my brother here, Lord. Lord, I pray that you will give him courage as he's speaking this message, Lord. Lord, give him clarity. Lord, thank you so much that we have our brother back. Thank you so much that he gets to share and teach us what he learned from his experiences. And Lord, I pray that we will all learn and get a lot out of what happened in his journey. Lord, thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. All right. Can I take my mask off? Yeah. All right. So I guess this. All right. Good morning, guys. How is everyone? Nice. What? What? All right. Yeah. So, if you don't know me, like my dad, he's pretty famous here. He's like the Korean pastor. Like you guys might have seen him. That's my dad. So I've known him for like all my life. My name is Jisoo. I'm actually like pretty freaking old compared to you guys. I'm like 27. Yeah. I'm like 28 next month actually, which is like crazy. Yeah. I think like most of you guys, like maybe like some of the guys who have known me for like even like the last 4 years since I moved here, don't even know that. But yeah. I got back like 2 months ago from the great nation of Turkey. Turkey. It's like it's spelled like the like the chicken thing. It's like the bird, but then it's like a nation in like Europe, and then like I lived in Istanbul. Like you guys have heard of Istanbul. It used to be the capital of of Turkey, but for the last like year and a half, I was there as a missionary, as a student missionary, and yeah, it's like it's somewhere in Europe. Actually, like half of Istanbul is in Europe, and the other half of Istanbul and the rest of Turkey is in Asia. So it's kind of like Istanbul is kind of like Niagara Falls, I guess. Like half of it is in New York City, half of it is in Canada. But I think like yeah, like I shared like last week, and many of you guys were there. But I never like expected to go out on missions. It's like such a crazy thing. Like who would want to go to like the Middle East? But like everyone knows like we're Christians here. It's America, and even like in Korea, there's like churches everywhere. And in the Middle East, basically, there's like no churches anywhere. Like I shared, like it's not that there's like no like very little Christians. In like Turkey, it's like 80 million people, but then 99.999%, 999%. There's like 4,000 Christians. It's like 99.999% Muslim, and like there's like literally no Christians. Like in order to meet a Christian, like a Turkish Christian, like an evangelical Christian, right? You would have to talk to like 21,000 people to like meet one Christian. So it's like really crazy. And like the first time I went to Turkey, it was like 3 years ago. It was in December of 2017. I went on a short-term mission. It was like 2 weeks, and it was so crazy because like when I first went there, like for the first time in my life, I was surrounded by like no Christians. You know, like if you ever watch like The Matrix, you have like Neo, right? It's like basically like he's like a human basically, and then he gets plugged into like the Matrix, and the Matrix is like this computer world where like everyone around him, they're not like real, they're like programs. And then like when I went to Turkey, it felt like I was like Neo in the Matrix, because like I went to Turkey, and then like everyone around me, it seemed like they were like robots or like zombies, because like none of them would like be Christian. And then I was just surrounded by so many people who are doomed to go to hell, right? It was so weird, it was so surreal, just like being there in that atmosphere. Like for the first time, it's like I was like like the bright like sun, beautiful like weather, the bright sun could be shining, but it's like I was in like total darkness. I felt like so empty. There was like no there were like no Christians. It's just like there's so much like spiritual like darkness. And like when I was there, like I felt like so like alone. Like I was like with my team, but then for the first time I knew like this is like the land where there's like no love of God. There's like no like love of Jesus. And like these people, like whoever you talk to, they're very friendly. They're like Turkish people are like so nice, you know. Middle Eastern like hospitality. They will invite you to your home and then give you like everything. You know, like they give you like tea, and then like they want you like to drink like at least like 10 cups of tea, right? And then they're like you're there for like an hour, like you share your life and whatever, and then they're like slowly like you like smell dinner, like they're like cooking their dinner, you know. They have like there's like a story with my friends, like they went to like a house and then they had like a chicken, like a pet chicken, right? And then and then like they smell dinner, and then it's like okay, it looks like we're having like chicken. And then like when they leave like later that day, it's like where did the chicken go? You know, they will kill their like one pet chicken just to like feed these guys. You know, they're so like excited to meet like foreigners, especially like Americans. And then when I tell them, you know, I'm Korean, it's like oh my god, do you know like BTS, right? They start naming like all the members of BTS. Like I literally don't even know one member of BTS. I just know like some songs, right? But then like the people there are so nice, they're so precious. But the truth is like they don't have like the love of God, you know. Like the God that they know, it's literally just like a boss. They will tell you this world, this life is a test, and if you do well enough, you will go into heaven. You know, if you get enough if you do enough good works. And then they will explain this to you like it's normal, like it's nothing. Like this God, there is no love in this God, and it's just a boss basically who's like giving you this test of life. And then if you follow these rules enough, like you will go to heaven. But then it's like you know, if you need like 90 points to get an A, right? And then like pass the class, say, like how many points do you need to enter into heaven? You know, it's like so nobody knows. They don't know if they're going to heaven. They don't know if they're going to hell. Actually, a lot of them believe that they will go to hell, pay for like however many like sins that they committed, and then eventually go to heaven anyways. So it's just so like abstract. There's no like line, you know. And as a result, they actually don't do any of it. They don't like follow any of the rules. And because there's no like love in this God, they just like they don't really care, and they don't have any hope or like joy in their lives. You know, I say like I'm like from America, and they're like whoa, like they're like shocked. Like there's not many Americans there, because Istanbul is like New York City. There's so many people. It's so beautiful as well. But it's just like not a lot of Americans go there, and they ask me like, why did you come from America? It's like heaven. Like I wish I could go to America, but the economy is just getting worse and worse. Like there's no way, and there's no hope for my life. like they study the hardest things, like mechanical engineering, like computer science, like whatever, like all of them like mostly study like hard stuff, and then nobody has a job, it's like so like their hope is like only in this world, and then they try to like live for like good works, but then they can't, they eventually just like there's no love for God, it's just like a boss that they don't love, and then they don't want to serve it, they just like, what do they get? If you like do well in your work, you get paid. If you do well for like God, like what do? They don't know, so they don't do any of it. They just like live freely. They're very like godless people, honestly. Like even though it's like 99% Muslim, like they don't like, they like don't know God basically. And for me, my dad's a pastor, so I grew up in the church like all my life. But then I think like for me, I never really understood like what it meant to be Christian. And then I never really understood like the light that is Jesus until I went to Turkey for like the short-term mission trip, and then I was just like in this darkness, And then like a week into like that short-term trip, we go to like our Christian fellowship, and then it's like I was like back home. It's like I was back in the church. I was like back with my family, and then just like hit me in that moment. I was just like really like flooded.
Yeah.
I was just like flooded by like God's like presence once again, and then it really like struck me like. You really have to be in the darkness to like know like how bright the light is, And then so I like took this like vision. It's like called Vision School, but it's like this like little like 2-month training program. You go like once a week for a few hours, and you hear like God's heart and like hear what God is doing in the nations. And then through that, like I discovered like such an amazing like body of Christ, like people who like really run for God, not just like as works. Not just like to do like these religious duties, but because they really love God, Because like you can try to like follow like rules and stuff, but like if you don't have like a relationship with God, like really like you're just gonna burn out, you're just gonna die off. And then I was in Turkey for like a year and a half. We would wake up at like 6 a.m. do QT together with like my team of 5. We would read like a chapter from the New Testament, share what we receive, and then pray together. And then we would study Turkish for 4 hours. I was actually like one of the better speakers. Like I'm like fluent in Turkish, and like it's really fun. But then it's like so tiring because like you study like 4 hours. You go to school like for 4 hours every day. You learn Turkish, and then you go to preach the gospel outside for like 4 or 5 hours. You basically just go outside. There's so many people. Even during Corona, like they don't care, they're just outside. Like there's like so many people, you just like go up to people, you make friends, you talk to them, and then you share the love of Jesus. And then like this love of Jesus that you share, it's like they've never heard it before, So it's like so incredible. Like of course they've heard all their lives they've heard the reasons why like Christianity is wrong. But then when you share about the love of Jesus, like when you share about the love of God, really like they receive this with their whole hearts. And then when you see this, it's just like such an amazing thing, And like coming back here, so basically I went to like I took like this vision school program, and then I started going to like their conferences and gatherings. And then it was like in this one conference that there was like this festival night. It was on the last night, and then they had like these flags that they're running. We had like 40 nation flags and stuff for this festival. And then like we did a flag running thing. And then we run with these flags, we go up on stage, and then we sing like a song for the nations basically. And then it just turned out that like I happened to like run the first flag. And it was like so exciting, It was like so exciting, but then like in that moment, like I went up on stage, and then like everyone, the other like 40 flags or so, like come up, and then we're singing a song for the nations. And in that moment, like I really like received like God's heart. I think like maybe like for like one of the first times in my life, this was like a couple years ago, like I really understood like God's love. I like went to church all my life, and it's like hard for pastors' kids, honestly. Like maybe you guys know, but like pastors' kids, there's like a lot of struggle because like they grow up in the church, they see that their like pastor, they see that their family isn't perfect, and then like their image of God is just kind of like ruined. So Christianity is like less than like it's like less than average. It's like kind of like a spoiled thing, like spoiled in a bad way. But then like at this like conference, like I was like so like in that moment I was just like so like it was just like so exciting, running this flag for the nations. And then like in that moment, I just began to like tear, you know, just like I just began to like suddenly like cry, because like I understood that like God's love is for like all nations. He wants like, you know, everyone here like in America knows like the gospel, knows like the love of God, but then there's like so many people in like these unreached nations basically, where there's literally like no Christians, and He wants to like really for all of His like children there that He loves so much, for them to be saved. And then when I understood that, like that God's love is so like wide, it's so like wide for like all of the world, that is like when I also understood that like God's love for me is like so deep. Like He really loves everyone, not just like, you know, Christians, but like He wants like all of His like people to like know like His love and like the sacrifice that He gave in Jesus. And then He really loves each person like so deeply as well. And then when I understood that in that moment, like it really like touched my heart. And like I think like for the first time I really like felt God's love, as I understood like God's heart for the nations. And then after that, like I went on my like 2-week trip. That was like 3 years ago. Yeah. And it's like Turkey is such an amazing nation, because like you guys know Paul, but then it's like where Paul did like his ministry, and like it was like in Turkey, like and like the 7 like churches of Revelation, you know, like the 7 like early churches, they're like of Asia, like they're all in like Turkey, and it's like such a historically like Christian nation, but then even like Noah's Ark, it landed in like the mountains in like the eastern side of Turkey, and then there's like a huge ditch actually, like you can actually see it in the mountains in like Turkey, like a huge like ark like ditch, you know, it's like where Noah's Ark like landed. And then there's like so much like historical like Christianity in Turkey, but then right now that it's like there's literally like no Christians, you know. Even like 100 years ago there were like so many active churches, and like 100 years ago in Korea, like there were no like Christians, you know, like Christianity came into like Korea just like 100 years ago, and then through that like it exploded, you know. So even though like Turkey is like really like it's like dying in Christian like spiritually, we believe that like as we go, like there will be an explosion of revival. And like just like in Korea, you know, like all these like Koreans here, like we're here because of like missionaries who went to Turkey, but then like through that like one seed of like missionaries and like martyrs, like the gospel spread, and then it exploded in like such a short time. And then we believe that like Turkey, it's like the Islamic like capital, it's like one of the like the Islamic leaders in the world. But then we say that like the first revival of Turkey will be like the last revival of all nations. And then can we show like a video, like a camp video? Yeah, that's that's like that was a camp in December 2020, like half a year into my term, like a little over a year ago. And that's like our English ministers, like missionaries in Turkey. And it's like so amazing, you know. This body is like growing and growing, but then like truly like God uses us to bring like revival to the nation of Turkey. And we believe that like even as like such young people go out to like preach the gospel to other young people in Turkey, like when we preach the gospel, like really they receive this like love of God for the first time, and they, you know, there's just like so much revival. Like even during like Corona, you know, we think we can't do anything, but then like on the eastern side of Turkey, in like one city in Turkey, like they just started calling. I was on the western side in Istanbul, but then on the eastern side they just started calling people. They just started calling up their friends, and they're like, wow, like people are accepting Christ, like, you know, like I'm doing this, like let's all do this, let's all like use our time that we're stuck home basically because of quarantine, and then let's just call our friends. And then in just like a short amount of time, like in like Corona time, like 23 people like accept Christ. These are like Turkish like people who have like never known Christians, but then even in just like one city, like 23 people like accept Christ just over like phone calls, you know, just over like friendships. And then I think coming back from America, it's been like I was like pretty excited. So originally I was gonna serve in Turkey for 1 year, but then I decided to extend my term for 6 months, by 6 months, because it seemed that like it seemed that like because of Corona hitting us and like quarantines keeping us indoors for like months, you know, it seemed that like I didn't really get my like fill of like my year, and then that and like I really wanted to like grow more in ministry. You know, I couldn't really. I learned like so much through being a missionary in Turkey. Like it was so hard to like approach people, like share the gospel. You know, imagine being like tired or like hungry or like you know, not in a good mood, or like you don't really, you know, you can't really speak the language, or like you're angry or you're sad, like whatever, like, or even just like unpresentable, you know, like like if you just like, you know, look like off or something, like and then just like not being like fun or like engaging when you talk to people, just like it's just gonna be like so hard. And then just imagine being like all those things at once, you know. It's just like so hard to like preach the gospel, like share sometimes, but then like slowly like I learned like so much, you know. I was like such a bad like evangelist, like I didn't even understand the gospel that well, and I would say that like throughout my entire life, like I didn't even like really know like Jesus that well, like I didn't really know like God's love that well. I just like went to church and stuff, but then I think like through this training, like you really just like try everything, you know. Sometimes you try. There was like one day we do something called explosive evangelism. It's just like like every person like try to like preach the gospel to like 50 people, you know, like short gospel, like simple gospel. It can be like 1 minute, 2 minutes, introduce, and then share. So you say, so hey, like do you know about like Jesus, you know, because like it can be like you can call it like a shallow gospel, but then everyone you talk to like has never like heard the gospel before. So really, even like that is like really effective, you know, to like explosively evangelize. And then on like one of these days, I was like, I'm gonna hit like a new high score, you know. I want to hit like 75 people, you know, like my old like high score for like the day, like by myself is like it was like 38 or something, you know. But then like on this day, I'm gonna hit like 75, you know, because some people hit like 100 people, you know, just like really quick like gospel. So I was like, I like wrote on a piece of paper like the John 3:16 in English on one side and then on Turkish on the other side. And then I was like, this is gonna be so easy. I'm gonna go up to people. I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm like practicing my Turkish. Can you like read this for me? Like I'll show them like the Turkish side. And then I was like, I'm gonna hit like 75 people like by myself. It's gonna be awesome, you know. And then like I go out and then it's just like I show them this piece of paper, right? And then like usually like you preach the gospel with your mouth. But then you show them this piece of paper and like they read it and then they understand like what you're trying to do. They think like you're like a missionary, you know. They read this paper and then they just get like pissed. they're just like cause like this gospel ultimately it's not like just another religion, you know. It's like a religion of love, and then like you really have to like show like the love of Christ in like to like these people, you know. These people don't like accept Christ because of like this religion that we preach, because of like facts that we share. Like they've been told like other facts, you know, other things all their life, but they accept Christ because of like the love that we show and the relationships that we build. And then I think in ministry I really learned that like serving people you really have to have love. As it says, like love is like the greatest, you know, like love is the greatest of all of these. And if you don't have love, you have nothing, you know. And it's like not by your strategy, tactics, knowledge, that like people like are open, but it's because of like the love that you share. Because like they don't have like a loving God. And so I was like I like showed this guy like this paper and he reads it, right, and he just like gets like pissed off, you know. He's just, and then he was like starting to like want to argue and stuff. But then I realized in that moment like this gospel like that we preach, it can't just be like a thing that we like try to sell them. It has to be like through like communication, you know, like face to face, like you talk to them. If they read this paper, they're not even like looking at you, you know. And then it's just like in that moment, like I like afterwards I got into like this like deep like religious like discussion with this guy. And then it basically like made me like question all the things that I thought I believed in Christianity, you know. And then I realized that like I don't actually know like that much, but then really like this gospel, it has to be preached, like has to be shown through our lives, like through like love. And then I think coming back from like my time in Turkey, it's been like really, I was like so tired, you know. I like chose to extend because like our team had like 3 friends who like ended up accepting Christ, and then I wanted to like stay behind for them, and then like none of the rest of my team wanted to like extend their term. They wanted to like go home, cause like in those times like we couldn't even go outside. Like half the week we were like stuck home, and like it's like hard to meet up with friends. But then I like decided to like stay another 6 months. I also like really enjoyed my time there. But then like after the end of the like a year and a half, right? I was like so tired, you know, like I was like so ready to just go home. And then like I remember in that first week, like I bought like all these like new clothes, you know, like all the clothes I worn, I took to Turkey. It was like my best clothes. But at the end of like a year and a half, they were like all worn out, you know. Even my computer's like laptop was like messed up. Like the screen was like dying. And then I ended up, you know, like buying like a new like MacBook, you know, it's, you know, like the new like M1 chip. I was like, I read about it and it was like crazy, and I was like, this has to be the one, you know, that I have to get. And then like, yeah, like new clothes, like new shoes, like everything. But then like I realized like in that week that I was there, just like trying to buy all these things, like I just came back from like this New York City, like Istanbul, like kind of city. And then like just like sharing the gospel, talking to people every day, like sharing the love of Jesus to people who have never heard in their lives. And then just like seeing their hearts so open, it's just like really like the greatest thing, you know. You can say that like you want to clean the house, right? Or like say you're like a professional cleaner, you know. But then like you never like go outside. You like stay in your home. It's like yeah, you can like clean things in the home, but then like isn't it like already clean? Like isn't it like, aren't there like other people cleaning it? Like wasn't it clean to begin with? It's like you have to go outside in order to clean. And I feel like since my time like I came here, like even just like preaching the gospel in like malls and stuff. Like yesterday I preached the gospel to like I think like 20 people in like an hour. You know, didn't have like much time. I met like Buddhists, like Christians, atheists, like Catholics, Muslims. Yeah. And then just like preaching the gospel, and it was good. But then it's like I realized like in America there's just like it's already like clean. It's like there's not, you have to like leave the house in order to clean things, you know. There are like garbage dumps outside. There's just like so much trash around. But then if you just stay at home, there's like not much work that you can do. And like I felt like coming back from Turkey in the first month that I was back, I was like buying all these things, you know, like going around the mall, just like looking at things I want to buy. And then I remember just like feeling like so depressed. Like I'm like here back, and then I just like, it's like I came back from like such a hard, like almost like militaristic like Christian lifestyle, just like preaching the gospel every day, like tired, you know, so hungry at times, into like this like heaven where I can just like sleep as much as I want, like eat as much as I want, like buy whatever I want, you know. We don't really like buy things there. We don't spend money for ourselves. But then like in that first week I was like in this like the American dream, right? Like in this like heaven, I was just like doing whatever I wanted. It was just like so depressing. Like I remember just like walking around like Augusta Mall and just like looking at all these things, and then just like not wanting any of it, because like it like took me to come back here and then like come back into this like lifestyle to realize like the American dream is like, it's like so empty. You know, like really we have to like go out and like do the ministry of God. We have to like share the love of God, and like even if like we're really bad at it in the beginning, we just like really learn like doing it over and over. And then there's like so many trials, so many like pains, so many like like struggles. But then just like through doing it over and over, like you really learn that like how to like do ministry and how to like share the love of God, because like that's what we're called to do. And I think like realizing my like testimony, like really meeting with God at the camp one time, you know, and like really understanding His love, it really like it's like these things that we do it out of our love for God. And we don't just do it as like religious works, you know, like Muslims or something, because like ultimately if there's no like relationship with God, and then we just do like these tasks basically, like we're just gonna not want to do it, just like Muslims. And then I just like learned so much. And then I think like yeah, and like that first week that I was back, it was just like I just realized, it really hit me that like this world is like so empty. This like American dream is like so empty, and just like buying things, all these like comforts and pleasures, it's like staying at your home, and just like, do you really want to like spend your life just like at home, like when you can go outside? You know, do you really want to just like live as like complacent Christians when you can like share the gospel to like all these people, you know, like it says like, yeah, it's like the treasure hidden in the field. I realized like this treasure that is the field. It's like this field for me. It was like Turkey. It was like these places where they never heard the gospel, and like the treasure is just like finding those people who like really are open to the love of Jesus. And like everything else, you like sell all of your possessions to like find this treasure hidden in the field. And then for me, like I really received that through Turkey. And then I think like through that training, I really like learned to like understand like God, like understand God's love, understand how to like serve people, and like grew as like a minister. Like we would like every week our team would go out to make friends, like share the gospel, and then every Sunday we would have our house church, and then all the friends we got to know, we invite them, we eat together, we worship, you know, we have fun, we like do Bible study, there's like sermon, but then like this every week, this like our team was like a unit where we grew our house church, you know, and then I think like definitely like I didn't like live like that type of lifestyle when I was here, you know, like we come here and then I come back from like Turkey, and like unfortunately like the college group has like, you know, it's like died down. It's literally like not even here anymore. And then I just remember like these like we just kind of like take our church for granted, and then we just kind of like whoever comes like comes, but then like we don't really try to like share the love of God. We don't really try to like plant and like really deeply grow our church. Like we don't really like go out and like share the gospel to everyone. You know, of course it's hard, and then of course like there's like everyone like has heard the gospel, but like who really knows like the gospel, especially in these times like of Corona. There's like so many people just like at home like falling into the world, like falling into sins, and then they don't even know like if they feel Christian, you know. Those are like the types of people that I met, like even just like sharing the gospel recently in America. But like just like we may not realize it at times, but like this like darkness that we live in, this darkness that is coming through like Corona and like quarantine, like we are actually the light, and we really have to like be the Christians who like go out and like share this love of Jesus, and we have to like really realize our testimonies, like really meet with God, that we will be the ones who like share this gospel out of like a love for God, and yeah. So I think yeah. So I was like, of course, like I think like I was like always in Atlanta, you know, just like with this like church body that like really this like missions body that like really love God. You know, they like really understand like God's heart, and they like don't just do it out of like a task. It's not that they like do more work than like the, you know, say like the normal church, the normal Christian, but like they really like love God. And then you really saw that through like the love that they showed for people. And I think I was like, that's what like drew me to like this body. And like that's why like I would drive like 2 hours, you know, to Atlanta to like serve with this missions body. Even like I slept like 4 hours actually. I like we stayed up eating like Korean food to like 2 a.m. and then I slept at like 3 a.m. and then like I woke up at like 7 or something, 8, and then I drove here this morning. And then like, but then like I think like really like we really have to be like the light and the love of God. Like this like we really have to like know God and like realize our testimonies, like realize like what God has done for our lives, and then really be this light to like wherever we are. You know, it's like harder. It feels like now that I'm back in America, like I'm not really like doing ministry. Like it feels like even if I go out to like the Mall of Georgia like I did yesterday, and then meet like all these types of people, and then like share the love, share the love of God. It seems like I'm not really doing much because like I was in Turkey, and then just like sharing the gospel to like so many people, hours a day, meeting friends, like sharing this love of God, and then their hearts are like so open. But then now that I'm here, it's just like it's so hard to like receive that same grace. It's so hard to like see that same type of like ministry. But then I think like really like what like how like people will see us. It's like seeing like the love of God in us, and like sharing this like love of Jesus. And like even if it is like so hard, like we have to do it like wherever we are. You know, it's like of course it's not the same like preaching the gospel in like Turkey as it is in like here in America. But I think like really just like knowing that God's love is always with us, and then just like sharing the gospel wherever we go. Like we really learn to like serve people better and better, and like we learn how to like serve these people as we do it. And like I'm so like grateful for like the time that I got to spend in Turkey. It was like so hard. It was like so hard for a year and a half. But honestly, like God taught me like so many things, and like I really understood like how like bright His light is. Like truly, like we are the light, like each and every one of us, and we really have to like, especially in these times, like go out to share. There are like so many people who call themselves Christian, who like think they're Christian because they live in America and their like families are Christian. But then honestly, like they don't really know like the love of God. And I think that was like me too. Before I went to Turkey, and like I really like received like God's love. But I think like in these times, we really have to like share the love of God and like be ministers like wherever we are. And I'm like so grateful that I got to like experience all these things in Turkey, and like really like God showed me like His heart. God like showed me His heart for like my life, and like really brought me up out of like this darkness of like living in America, and then just like bringing me to His love in Turkey, and like showing me that like really like there's like so much grace in like serving God like wherever we are. Yeah. And so I guess I'll just like pray for us. Dear Lord God, we just thank you for what you are doing in our lives, Lord God. Would you always remind us of your love that you have shown us through Jesus, Lord God, wherever we may be in our lives, Lord, whatever we may be doing, Lord. We just pray that you will just always help us to grow, and may we always be reminded of your love, so that we may live in your love and be able to serve you, Lord. And would you just raise us up to be your shepherds to all these lost sheep, wherever we may be, Lord God. I just pray that you will bless this church and just continue to work on our lives, Lord God. Would you just truly grow this church into a community who will just truly seek after you alone, and who will just truly love you, Lord God. And I just pray that all these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Hey Jisoo, can you say something in Turkish for us?
Yeah, what do you want me to say?
Just like introduce yourself.
Merhaba herkese, benim adım Jisoo. Ben 27 yaşındayım. Ben 1,5 senedir İstanbul'da yaşıyordum. Ben Güney Koreliyim. Memnun oldum.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
What would you say to anybody here that's interested in starting their journey into like going into missions?
Yeah. We actually have like our like missions training program. It's actually starting like this month, and I'm trying to like pioneer like the Augusta side, because I'm here, and like maybe like I'll serve Atlanta as well. But then there's like we have like a program coming up, and like if you're interested at all, it's really just like you really like receive God's heart. You really like receive God's love for you. Like in your life, you like really receive God's heart, and then it just makes you want to like go out and like serve the nations. So I think like if you want me to like share more, like you can like just talk to me, and then
How old do you have to be?
it's actually for all ages. We have like kids, youth, all these things. But really, it's like the greatest thing. You know, you go to like church on Sundays, you hear like sermons, but then really like the heart of God is to see like the gospel being preached to all nations. And then it says like the end will come, like Jesus will come. So that's like especially in these times, like we really have to like live for God, live for God's vision, and like really receive His love, and it will like change our lives.